always best to leave a lasting first impression. And you will if you pay attention to these three things that 99.7% of all women instantly notice about you. From the first time she notices you, she will be subconsciously, if not consciously, evaluating whether you're a yes, no, or maybe. So you really don't have time to entice her if you get these three things wrong from the get-go.
What's up, fellas? It's your boy Ayindei coming to you from Authentic Alphas. And that beautiful Canadian woman was Anna. The name of her channel is actually Your Wingman. She's been on YouTube since 2016, giving really good dating advice geared towards men. Her advice is extremely accurate, very, very, very useful. So definitely check her channel out. And every Tuesday, she has a show called Just the Tip. So today being Wednesday, I'm gonna go ahead and review her last Tuesday video, which of course was yesterday. So we're gonna get into it. It's only 3 tips, shouldn't take long, but they're really, really good tips. So let's check out number 1.
Turn-ons. 1. How well put together you are. How well put together you are includes attire, attitude, grooming. Now, you don't need to wear the latest fashions, but you do have to be well put together. But for now, wear clothes that are clean, in good repair, fit you properly. If your clothes are dirty or not in good repair or look like you're totally disheveled because they don't fit you right, she's gonna think that you maybe have given up on life. That's not attractive. Sorry, guys. But if you dress to suit, pun, the 10% more confident side of your personality, then not only will you look 10% better than you usually do, but that will boost your confidence in yourself. And that will show up in how you present yourself to the world. Same thing goes with grooming. If you're not sure about grooming, here are the basics. Unstained, plaque-free teeth, proper haircut, whatever suits you, groomed facial hair. Maybe it's messy and that's intentional. Clean fingernails, unless you're working, of course. Showered, deodorant. Now, a surprising one that's not on this list is aftershave or cologne. Some women like it, some women prefer your natural scent. So do whatever is most you, but I will say don't overdo it if you do wear cologne. Too much just reeks of you trying to hide some stinky something. How well put together you are is something she instantly notices and tells her a lot about your personality.
Okay, so in the near future, I'm actually gonna do a video that's just gonna be a collection of dating tips that I actually got from my mother, from my mom's. So I know a lot of guys can't relate to that because, they might have grew up with a single mom or, just a mom in general that wasn't really useful in helping them with girls or wasn't able to really give them any useful advice. But my mother actually gave me some very simple, very blunt advice that was extremely useful. And her point number 1, or her tip number 1, actually reminds me of something that my mother told me when I was like 14 or 15. And it was super simple, but it was like very, very effective. And what she said to me was, brush your teeth and wash your face like you got a date and you'll get one. And she wasn't really talking about brushing my teeth and washing my face. I wasn't actually not brushing my teeth and washing my face. What she was trying to say in a cute, funny, sarcastic way was, get like a lineup, you know what I'm saying? Have a nice clean outfit on as if you were going on a date. And that way, when you meet girls and you ask them out, they will be inclined to go on a date with you because you're already presenting a very, very attractive image of a guy that they would like to be on a date with. So in other words, you kind of have to already look the part. And it's very simple, but it makes a lot of sense because what a lot of guys do is actually the opposite. They do whatever they do, comfortably, and then when they have a date is when they say, okay, I gotta line up my beard, and I gotta trim this, and I gotta put on one of my nice colognes, and I gotta put on a nice new clean fresh shirt because I got a date, I got a hot date, not realizing that if they already present themselves like that, they will get more dates. So this directly correlates with what she's saying, which is that if you're well dressed and you're well manicured, you're well groomed, and obviously smell good, like duh, but you can't present yourself at like 65 or 75%, and then expect a girl to see you at your 100%. She doesn't know you, so unless she's seen you previously to you asking her out, she has no idea who you are, how you normally look and carry yourself. So obviously guys present that type of image, and I know a lot of guys, it sounds like common sense advice, but let's be real, a lot of guys just put on, like, you know, whatever sweats, a Star Wars t-shirt or whatever, like whatever they're comfortable in, not realizing that every opportunity not realizing that every time you leave your home is an opportunity to meet females. They're literally everywhere. Like right now, I might be at my building, I'm at the pool, there's, you know, some females, you know, kind of around or whatever. You can't see them, you know, there's one over there. Well, actually, there's three over there. You know, one over there. And they live in my building, so obviously I wouldn't do it. But the thing is, they might have friends, you know, with them that don't live in my building. And I could be just like going to the gym to do some cardio or whatever, or just coming down to the pool and boom, you know, met some girls. So you need to always be prepared to meet women. Let's get to number 2.
2, your ability to make strong eye contact. Strong eye contact shows self-assurance and masculine dominance. What? Did I just say the D word? I did. Just like with wild animals, the first person to look away submits to the dominance of the other. I'm looking away now. Because being able to make strong eye contact shows you're not intimidated and proves your masculine dominance. Key point. Strong eye contact does not necessarily mean uninterrupted eye contact. This is not a staring her down in a sociopathic, creepy way. See, even I looked away right there. But you do want to make it more than a furtive, cursory glance, because otherwise that shows intimidation, weakness, and lack of confidence. Or worse, lack of interest or low self-worth. Now, if she's also dominant, then she may maintain eye contact long enough to see who wins. But if you maintain your masculine frame, even if you do look away first, all right, you got me. You'll still own the situation if you let her win.
Okay, this is why I really, really love this woman's content. You know what I mean? I really do like her content. What she said was so simple, but it is such a power move. Let me tell you, the first time that I did this, that I pulled this off, it wasn't even my goal or my intention. I was actually just being genuine. And there was this chick. She was like, I think Cuban. She was super thick, and she had really, really beautiful eyes, really sexy eyes. And she would come to my job, and she never like spoke to me at first. I never spoke to her, but I would always make this extremely strong, intense eye contact with her. And it was just simply because I thought she had really hot, like sexy eyes. She had a really beautiful, you know, face, but her eyes just really complemented, you know, her face. And they were really, you know, they're really seductive and very interesting. And it was almost like I would be having a conversation with her through eye contact. And I did that at least 2, but I think 3 times, like 3 different occasions that, you know, that I saw her. And finally, you know, I went to speak to her, and you know, getting her number and everything was like obviously extremely easy. Like I could tell obviously she was feeling me because of the way she made the eye contact back with me. And it was unabashful. Like it wasn't like, you know what I mean? It was long, you know, long eye contact. I'm talking 20, 30 seconds at a time. And a lot of communication was happening with just that simple eye contact. And I remember, like, I got her information or whatever, and when I finally like spoke to her, called her or whatever, she actually told me straight up she didn't really notice me, or it, you know, it didn't really come across her mind like that until I was making that eye contact with her, and she was like, you know, what it did to her. Like I really pulled her in with that. That was the selling point for her basically. So once I got that feedback, because feedback from women is very, very important, dude, because there's so many things that I've done and I wasn't necessarily my intention, or I wasn't even maybe aware of it. And a lot of times you're just kind of throwing things at the wall and seeing what would stick. So the feedback that women have given me over the years I've always taken it as ammo and said, okay, I know this works now, it's confirmed. Let me figure out if it was just that particular girl that responded well to that, or if it's women in general. So of course, when she said that to me, I started kind of using that. Like, I put that in my arsenal, and I'm telling you, it is effective. It works in the mall, dude. It could work in church, anywhere. And it's not something that you necessarily do that first time that you're going to confront them. If it's someone that you're going to see again, it's actually kind of better to be patient and let the tension kind of build up. But obviously, if it's someone who you don't come in contact with, you're not going to see again, you got to make your move when you have your opportunity. But you still want to give it as much space as you can. So for example, if you're like in Publix or something, oh, maybe I shouldn't say Publix. I don't know where you guys are, what your supermarket is, but say you're at your local supermarket and you see a woman that's attractive, try to make that eye contact with her. And when she makes that eye contact, or if she makes that eye contact with you, don't break it. Don't be the first to break it. Like, that is so simple, but it is true. And it is something that you notice in animals. And you can learn a lot from watching animals, believe it or not. You can learn a lot from watching animals and how the male and the female interact with each other, because it takes the words out of it. So I've learned a lot of body language cues and facial expression cues and behavioral cues from animals, believe it or not. I love watching animals. But anyway, so let's say you're in a supermarket, you see a lady, and maybe she's an aisle 4, and you like her. Try to get that eye contact, try to make it initially, and then kind of go about your business, and then try to position yourself and time yourself that maybe you'll bump into her again when she's by the cash register or whatever. That way you could do it a second time, and then as soon as she steps outside of the supermarket, you can again time yourself that you're kind of leaving relatively around the same time. Now you can go ahead and come in and make your approach, because you already have two sessions of eye contact under the belt already. So now when you go in, it's not like as abrupt or awkward or startling for her. She almost anticipated it because you had already made that eye contact. Real quick before we get on to her third tip, this is another thing that's super simple, and it's like worked for me very, very well. Simply waving, smiling, eye contact, winking, and waving. These are all nonverbal gestures that you can do to a woman from a reasonable distance to gauge whether or not she's approachable, or at least approachable by you. So try those things, guys. Like I said, they're all super simple, but they're super effective. This right here goes a long way, because what happens is when you make the eye contact and then you wave, if she waves back, she's inviting you to come over and talk to her at this point. Now you already know the rejection aspect is out of the picture. The most she might say is she's not interested, or she has a boyfriend or something like that. But she is not gonna, brutally reject you, because by her waving back to you, that's a form of invite. By you making eye contact with her and her making eye contact back, again, that's a form of invite. For you to smile at her and she to smile back, again, that's an invite. So this is simple stuff, guys, that you can do to kind of prime the approach. Let's see what her third one is.
Yeah. Out of all of the 3 things 99.7% of women instantly notice about you, number 3 is the riskiest, but it also offers the most reward. 3, your appraisal of her, your visual appraisal of her. This shows her your standards, self-worth, and high value. Showing her you have higher standards automatically makes her assume you're higher value. So when you look at her appraisingly, I'm going to show you what to do in just a minute, it automatically turns the tables on her to have to prove her worth to you. And remember, a man who proves or shows that he has high standards is perceived as having high value, even if he doesn't. So I'm going to give you an example, and then I'm going to share with you the counterintuitive turnoff way too many men partake in. Okay, so just before I show you how to appraise a woman to give her butterflies and turn her on, a key point is she has to have at least a medium to above medium level of interest. She can't really be on the fence. She's got to be a little bit intrigued, or you have to know her well enough that by doing this, she's not going to take it too seriously. So when she's over there, or even if she's close, depending on the situation, you're going to look her up from top to bottom. But here's how you're going to do it. You're going to go from eye contact all the way down. Wait, let me see if I can do this. All the way down to her feet and back up again and nod. So you'll want to avoid the TNA zone. So you're going to totally skim right past that. If you hover around there, no West bueno. You save that for when you've already been there in your birthday suits. Then you can, because it's playful, and that's going to be part of the fun part of being in a relationship, when you can linger on the TNA zones. But when you're just appraising her for the first time, after she's shown interest, if you do it playfully, then she's going to probably laugh. But she's also going to be like, did he just evaluate me? Wait, I'm supposed to be he's evaluating me? Okay, all right, well played. So you check her out, you grin and nod in a playful way. This bold and audacious move will give her butterflies if she's interested. And if she was kind of interested, she'll be more interested. Unless she doesn't have a sense of humor, in which case it's a really great test for filtering. And again, depending on the situation and your personality, you might want to go for mysterious seriousness or goofy playfulness. Use your personality. You're going to stay true to who you are while getting a little bit out of your comfort zone. Does the thought of doing something like this give you nervous butterflies? Comment below. You're not alone. And remember, when you're trying something new, you are going to fumble the ball. It's going to feel awkward. You're going to be super embarrassed. You're not going to want to try again. But you have to push through that if you want to become masterful and not a master something elser. So it'll be much easier if your only goal is to practice. Do it, evaluate, do it again, make some tweaks, evaluate until you're kind of comfortable with it, and then it'll come across a lot more smooth because it will be comfortable. It'll be just part of who you are.
So her third one, again, something that I've been doing for years, and it works. So this one, I like to call it the frustration transformation. Not because it has anything to do with frustration, but because that's another way to use this tactic. And it's just a simple table turning, a role reversal. So sometimes you'll be like getting stressed out or frustrated with a chick, and then somebody will ask me like, "Yo, this chick did this, and it's like irritating me, it's stressing me out. I don't know what to do." And I would tell them, though, what you got to do, bro, is you got to do the frustration transformation, because she did something to frustrate you. So now she's on your mind. The question is, are you on her mind? So what she did to you is actually what you're supposed to be doing to her. You're supposed to be doing things to the woman that gets under her skin, that has her thinking about you while you're off minding your business and casually doing what you're doing, right? And that's as simple as making her maybe wait for a response with a text, or maybe she calls, you don't answer right away, but you text her, "Hey, I'm a little busy, I'll give you a call back when I get a minute." Things like that have her waiting on you. So this is a similar, if not pretty much the same concept. Women are used to being the ones to do this. I don't know if you guys have noticed that, but many, many times when a girl's been checking me out, or when I talk to a girl, they will do that. And it's a subconscious thing. They'll look down to your shoes and they'll look back up to your eyes. And it's like they're literally doing a haul over. They're literally doing a one over on you. They're looking at your shoes. They're looking at your outfit. They're looking at how well groomed you are, and then they're looking at like your haircut and all this type of things. And they do it very quickly. And I notice, when women are with their boyfriend or they're with a guy or whatever, I catch them checking out other guys or myself all the time, and they always do it very, very subtly, very, very quickly, and almost 90% of the time the guy that they're with doesn't even notice it. So when women check a guy out, it's super quick. So you gotta be an expert, become an expert at that and knowing how to spot it. Another thing that women do very subtly and very quickly is give choosing signals. So as a guy, you have to kind of learn how to do what they do and then do it better than they do it, simply because that's their language, right? If that makes any sense, that's their language. So anyway, what she's saying about being the one to assess the woman, you're basically saying to her, it's not about whether or not I'm good enough for you, it's about whether or not you're good enough for me. And that's the game that you want to be playing with women. I just finished texting a girl like, listen, I'm not trying to win you over. Like, I'm not trying to convince you of anything. Like, I'm letting her know, it's like, you're the one that needs to convince me. Like, I already know that you would be so lucky. And I can very arrogantly tell a girl like, hey, listen, don't even worry about it, it's your loss. And when you say shit like that to women, trust me, it sticks in their head, because most guys will not say nothing like that. And the guys that do say things like that are cocky, arrogant, confident, whatever. But whether or not they're an asshole, there still is an underlying reason as to why they're that cocky, that arrogant, or that confident. And that's always going to strike curiosity in women. They want to know, who does he think he is? You know what I mean? Even if they're like upset about it, it pisses them off, they're still like interested though. And we all know the worst thing you could do with a woman is be boring. So you always want to have an aspect of unique in your approach. You always want to do something that hasn't been done, or most guys by far do not do. So the whole like look over like she did, I do it all the time, to the point where for me it's second nature. It's natural for me. And by doing that, I'm very blatant with it. You have to make sure the woman sees you checking her out. That's another thing. A lot of guys check women out when the woman either isn't paying attention or they think that she's not paying attention. Dude, that is the worst, because it shows low self-esteem, a lack of confidence, and it also says that you have to get her approval. But when you do it blatantly and openly, it makes them insecure, but insecure in a good way, because they're like, oh, you know, do I look good enough? You know, he's checking me out. Like, you know, is he not attracted to me? And women care so much about what other people think, even someone that they might normally not even be attracted to or even care their opinion. If they think that your opinion of them is less than what they want it to be, now part of them wants to gain your approval. Part of them wants your validation, even though they might not even be attracted to you. But now your validation matters all of a sudden, because you're giving them the feeling or the sense that they don't measure up to your standards. And the last thing that a woman wants to be, this is the most terrifying thing for a female, is to be undesirable, right? There was an episode of Sex and the City I was watching, and what is this chick's name, Amanda? I don't know, the older, sluttier one. She was explaining something to one of the other women, and she was like, love? She was like, don't be silly. Women don't need to feel loved. Women need to feel desired. Men are the ones that need to feel loved. All right, let's move on.
One thing that's a turnoff. Apologizing excessively or inappropriately. Women are actually really bad about this. Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm a Canadian. Like, I'm sorry is part of the first words we say. We say that before mom. But apologizing too much, or when it's really not necessary, kind of shows her you are unsure, have low self-esteem, essentially weakness, not masculine dominance. Key point, apologizing doesn't always include the words, I apologize or I'm sorry. It can show up in your actions or in subtle words. For example, if you ask her out, but then include the words, it's okay if you say no, that doesn't show masculine dominance and confidence. That shows lack of confidence. Unless, of course, you're doing it in a super playful way, showing exaggerated confidence. Otherwise, it's like you apologizing in advance for the inconvenience of her having to reject you, an unworthy prospect. That's not going to work out too well for you. You probably figured that out. If she didn't think you were unworthy before this statement, you expressing your own self-doubts will have her thinking about whether or not you are worthy. Women mirror your feelings about yourself. Key point, it's okay to have some tension in a relationship. In fact, it's necessary to have some sexual tension when you're asking a girl out, because you need that tension to be able to create attraction or maintain it. What to do instead? Well, unless you've messed up big time, you want to change your apologies to thank yous. If you arrive at a date and you're a little bit late, instead of saying, sorry, I'm late, thank you for your patience. When you don't reply back to her text right away, don't say, sorry, I didn't reply right away. Or a non-sorry, but still sorry, would be providing an explanation or excuse, like, the gym was really busy today. That's basically the same thing as an I'm sorry, and it's not necessary. You're allowed to have a life. You're allowed to be busy. You're allowed to do these other things and not have to be Johnny on the spot. So unless there's some tragic event, you just carry on the conversation without even acknowledging the delay. You just pick up where you left off. Don't say sorry for every little thing. Save your sorries for when you really need it.
Okay, so her last tip was a don't. It wasn't a do, it was a don't. And again, something else that I can relate to. So she's Canadian, and I'm somewhat familiar with Canadian culture because I've been to Canada a few times actually, and also I was married to a Canadian woman from Montreal. And the reason why I say it hits home is because I'm very unapologetic. And one of the things that my ex-wife actually liked about me was the fact that I don't apologize to women. Um, and coming from Canada, you know, not only is she used to men like apologizing for every little thing, she's irritated by it. And women are very irritated by it. Like, it really turns women off. And they will begin to resent you for it, for being too, it just falls into the category of being too nice. And that's always going to be a turn off for women, because they want the guy to kind of, you know, obviously have more of a backbone than them and be more resilient than them, and to be a little bit more, you know, dominant and in control, basically. So someone that apologizes often, especially for things where they're not like actually wrong or at fault, it wasn't even like a mistake, it's the worst. Like the less that you are actually responsible or guilty is the more of a turn off your apology is going to be to a woman. And a lot of you guys, you fall into this rut because you're thinking you're trying to be nice and you're trying to be pleasant, all that's like, bro, you don't want to worry about those type of things with women. Trust me. I'm not saying be a dick or an asshole, obviously. And that's why I like this woman's channel, because she explains these things very, very well and gives you extremely easy to understand examples of exactly what it is that she's trying to say to you, because she told you the way to go about it. So instead of actually saying sorry, just be like, hey, I was really, really busy at work, man. I could barely even get to the phone, but what's up? And I like how she said you just move on with the conversation. You pick up where you left off. That's exactly what you do. As a man, you have to behave like a salesman. And salesmen dominate the conversation. They dominate the narrative. They direct the conversation. They don't let the person they're trying to sell to lead the conversation, because obviously they're going to lead it somewhere where the salesman isn't necessarily going to be able to dominate. They might ask questions that he doesn't necessarily want to get into because it doesn't show the product in its best light. So as the salesman, you want to focus on the strong points. You want to focus on the selling points, right? You don't want to focus on the things that might make someone decide not to buy that product or service. Hello, when you are dealing with women in the dating market, you are a salesman. You are selling yourself. So always control the narrative, and saying you're sorry is a way to lose the narrative quickly. And with women, you never want to put yourself in a position where they're the victim and you owe them something. You need to make something up to women. You don't want to be in that position, and women are constantly going to try to put you in that position naturally. Women naturally, by nature, want to put the man in a position of making up something to them, because they benefit from that. I've often told guys that women benefit the most right before a relationship and right before a relationship ends, because before the relationship, the guy is running around trying to win this chick over, which benefits her, because you're running around kissing her ass, trying to do all these things to convince her to be with you, to deal with you. And then when she's acting as if she's going to break up with you, that's when she benefits also, because now you're running around trying to make things right, trying to do things to her, you know, for her, and trying to appease her and make her happy and make it, you see what I mean? So in those two unstable moments of the relationship is where she's going to benefit the most. When things are stable, you know what I mean, that's when the woman is, you know, just, it is what it is at that point. So their insatiable diet for more, or appetite for more, they're already predisposed to that behavior or that thought process. So you kind of always have to be prepared to keep them away from making you owe them something. All right, guys? So this is another great video by her. She has tons of them. Like I said, she's been doing this since 2016. Check her channel out, sub to it. It is definitely useful advice. Thanks for the love, guys. I don't ask guys to sub to the channel and like, because I feel like you should already be doing that. But a lot of you guys aren't doing that. You know, a friend of mine, another content creator, hit me up and was like, bro, your analytics is off, man. He's like, your viewers aren't liking the video. You got to tell them to like the video. And I feel like it's a damn shame we got to tell you guys to like free content. Like, you obviously like the content, you obviously digging it, and if you're not getting value out of the content, that's on you. You know, I'm very confident in my content. I know this shit works. So if you're not getting value and better results out of the content, that's because you're not applying it. Get your ass out there and start waving to some pretty girls. Get your ass out there and start making some strong eye contact, and you can't tell me that it's not gonna behoove you. And one more thing I want to touch on that she said, that I share with my clients that I do consults with all the time is that get out there and do these things, but not for the goal of closing the deal. Don't be approaching women with the goal of getting their number and sleeping with them and all that. Your expectations are way too high if you're an amateur at this shit. What you should be doing is aiming to just get the work done. Get the reps in is what you should be doing. That should be the goal. So I tell my clients, like, listen, this is what I want you to do. I want you to have a quota for every day. You need to start a genuine conversation with at least 3 women. You don't need to ask them for their number. You don't need to ask them on a date. You don't need to do all that. You need to just start a conversation and get comfortable in conversation with the woman. Because this is the advice that goes over a lot of guys' heads. Be confident. And a lot of guys are irritated by that. Oh, all these dating coaches tell you to do is be confident and maintain masculine frame. Those dating coaches just aren't as good at explaining how you put it into practice. I am. So this is how you put it into practice. The whole just be confident. What it really means is be confident with improv. Be comfortable talking about anything at any moment. A lot of you guys think that you need to have a plan. If you need to have a plan, then you already lost. If you need to have a plan to just talk to a woman, you already lost. Your plan shouldn't be, oh, what am I going to say to her and all this other, like immature, insecure shit. Your plan should be, what am I going to do with her after she responds well? Just being comfortable in the moment and being able to talk about any topic that might come up and respond to anything that she might say in a strong, clever, maybe funny or interesting way. That's what matters. That's why being somewhat well versed on multiple topics and subjects is always good. Knowing a little something about different cultures, different countries, stuff like that is always good. Actually having seen some of the most popular TV shows that these women might watch is actually good. I'm not saying go watch every episode of Sex and the City. What I'm saying is you should at least be familiar enough with it to know, okay, this is Carrie, this is what's her name, Miranda or whatever. You should at least kind of know a little bit about what the show is about, just so that you're able to make conversation with women. Even if you're saying that I don't watch Sex in the City, you need to be familiar enough with it to say why it doesn't appeal to you, right? That way, you could at least have somewhat of a dialogue with this girl and she's not just bored interacting with you. Because I already told you guys the worst thing for a chick is boredom. Keep them interested. All right, guys? So I'm going to see you on the next one real soon. Putting a lot of work right now. Next year is going to be a busy year for me. I'm going to take this YouTube shit seriously. So I need you guys to also take my channel seriously. Like it, subscribe to it, share it, send the link to other people. There's tons of guys out here that need this information, so send it to them. Peace.